Alright guys, welcome back to the Dark Souls 3 all-in-one guide. Now, this is going to be a very long episode because Cathedral of the Deep is quite lengthy and there's a lot of things you have to do concerning NPC quests, and we got to go back and get a gesture from Farron Keep. Now, I'm trying something different in this playthrough. I've never messed with poison before. I didn't think it was very useful because I watched guides and read guides and they said it was useless. So I experimented with it, and it's not as useless as people think it is. In fact, it's quite useful. You just have to do it a very specific way. Now, if you don't have alluring skulls, just buy some from the Handmaiden. They'll come in handy for the boss in the Cathedral of the Deep. And we're going to go allot our Estus with Andre. We're going to make sure we have more of the other type of Estus, the Ashen Estus. I think it's called the Ashen Estus. And less of our regular Estus. Now, we're going to buy some Pyromancies to get some of them out of the way. The first one is Fireball. This will be your third of 27. Then our next Pyromancy is Fire Orb. This will be your fourth of 27. This is pretty useful for groups, and we'll use it in Cathedral of the Deep a few times. Now, the next one, Exploding Fireball, we're not going to get this one right now. Fire Surge, 5 of 27. This is it's like a water hose, a fire water hose basically. It spews out this constant stream. We'll use it for the dogs. Your next one, the 6 out of 27, is Great Combustion. And your next one is Poison Mist, your 7 out of 27th Pyromancy. Then we have Profuse Sweat. This will be your 8th of 27. This Pyromancy boosts some of your resistances, like Poison and Curse, which is nice. Now we're off to Cathedral of the Deep. Like I said before, guys, I'm playing a very sneaky type playstyle, so I'm going to be doing things a little bit different. But hey, sometimes different can be good and fun, and in this case, I think it is. And now I'm going to tune my Fire Surge. This is basically to keep the dogs at bay, since I hate dogs so very much. So basically I'm aggroing them, and then when they get close, I'll spray them down. Now, your ashes are over here, but there's a guy guarding it. What I'm going to do is go Hidden Body, equip my Storyteller Staff, get close enough to poison him, and run away. And then there's another NPC up here, and he has the Spider Shield, but we're not going to poison him. Instead, we're going to backstab him over and over, but he'll never even see us. Hidden Body is a broken spell in this game when combined with the Lingering Dragon Crest Ring and the Slumbering Dragon Crest Ring, because they don't see you and they don't hear you, so we can continuously backstab NPCs. It's a cheap way to do it, but hey, it's fun. So I'm going to use Hidden Body and drop down here. You have to stay away from them initially, though, because they will sense you're there. So you have to back up a little bit, wait them to reorient their position, and backstab them again. And just keep a counter in your head, about 20 seconds per cast. Even with the Lingering Dragon Crest Ring, you have to keep tabs on how long you're invisible. Now, the first guy you poisoned, he will be coming up here, back and forth. He'll be just making a path, back and forth, back and forth. So, he's still poisoned, and we're just going to finish him off with one arrow. I like to hide behind this rock right here, behind cover, and just watch his health tick away. It won't take all of his health, but it'll take him down to one arrow will take him out. So that's what we're doing. He's going to run back one more time, and we're just going to follow him down and pop him one time with an arrow, and it's over. Sure, I could have just went in guns a-blazing, but this is about being sneaky, this playthrough, so I'm trying to play a very particular playstyle. And it's been fun so far. And he's gone. And these are the Paladin Ashes. This will give you access to unlimited undead hunter charms, which is helpful. Now, for this next section, it is filled with dogs and archers. The main thing I want to get rid of is the dogs first, but there's one particular archer that you need to take care of. But right here between these two trees, aggro the first dog. Then I get my Fire Surge ready, and the dog will never get close to me. He will not ever touch me, and that's what I like. I hate dogs. So shoot this one and do the same thing. I always put my shield up just in case, but they've never gotten to me with this strategy. Even with the fire bandit knife, there's a chance that they can get close to you, but with the fire surge, they've never made it to me. Next dog. Now you got to be careful here because if they're too far away, they won't come all the way to you, so you have to aggro them again. In this case, I just picked another victim. There's another dog right here. But you have to be behind cover because there's an archer on the right that will get you even from here. But if you're between the tree, you cannot get hit. But that's why we're going to take out the archer now. You move forward too much more, he's gonna start shooting you. One more dog here. I think there's another one up there too. Now that we've cleared the area mostly, we're just going to go invisible and sneak up on the remaining archers. Never see us coming. This is why I don't really need a lot of Estus, guys, because this build is so broken. You're not going to take damage. You're really not. You're not going to take much damage anyway. If you play your cards right. But we do need a lot of Ashen Estus to keep filling up our spell casts. There's a Devout Bomber, I think that's what they're called, up ahead. Could snipe him if you want, but I'm going to go invisible. Just kind of stay enough away where they won't aggro, and then just get behind them and backstab them. Our next Estus shard is to the left, but we're not going to get it just yet. Instead, we're going to come in here and activate the bonfire. We're not going to sit at it because we don't want the enemies to respawn all. It's just one enemy, really. But I'm trying to get into a habit of not sitting at bonfires and just not respawning the enemies. Just make sure you get your notched whip here. Activate the bonfire. Now we're going to have some more fun with our poison. Even though it's not necessary, it's just something I like to do. We're going to get our fire bandit knife out for this next section though. But we're going to get our staff out. Again, this is not necessary. I just tried to find ways to have fun. There's these guys who are just sitting here. We're just going to poison them. And then we're going to go continue on our way. Because we have to come back through here anyway. And by the time we come back, they'll all be dead. But these, I don't know what these things are called. Infested corpses or infested dogs. If they touch you, they'll get these leeches on you and they'll just cause bleed for an absurd amount of time. But they are very weak to fire. Fire bandit knife for the win here. Or the torch if you don't have a fire weapon. You can start just by lighting them on fire and then attacking them with any weapon you got. But the best thing to do is just have them jump at you. Be far enough away where they'll just jump at you and you can just, as they land, you hit them and that's it. But you definitely want to have the torch just in case you do get the leeches on you, so you can get the leeches off of you immediately. Because, like I said, they'll bleed you forever. At least 2 bars of bleed is ridiculous. And there's a Titanite shard right here, and we're going to get our next crystal lizard. I found that if you kind of run alongside them, you can kind of dictate where they go. Kind of like herding cattle in a way. You ever played games where you had to herd cattle on a horse or something? It's kind of like that. See, I got him kind of trapped here now, instead of running all over the place. Now we're going to kill our next Godzilla Crystal Lizard. Get some more Titanite scales. Again, I just like to use the one-handed attack. It's a little bit faster. And the more times you can hit it, the more chances it'll get stunned, and then you can repost it for massive damage, like right here. Now we're going to go get our next ring, the Poison Bite Ring. This is your 17th of 107 rings. I didn't even bother to use fire here. My knife is strong enough, but he can. If your knife isn't strong enough, you can still hit by leeches, but not this time. We're going to pick up another couple of Titanite shards, and then we're going to go back to the church. By now, that group that we poisoned earlier should all be dead, and we can just pick up our next Estus shard. But for your next Titanite shard, you just follow back till you see this torch. And then come up here, and it's at the end. But the way forward is straight, so you just want to drop down here and go forward, and you'll be back at the church. Ultimate Estus 6 of 11. Like I said before, that group that we poisoned earlier, they're all dead for some reason. I wonder why. Now we just pick up our shard and we're done with this section. Now, I recommend the fire knife again because those infested corpses are littered along the path to the cathedral. But in the graveyard, we're not going to deal with much of these enemies. They're just not worth our time. But where you can just put our shield up and run past them most of the time, unless they're directly in front of me. But if you take a quick left here, you'll get another item. Never used this sword either. A lot of weapons I haven't tried in this game. I want to hang a left, come this way, and you'll drop down to some more items and another weapon, which I've never used. The Executioner's Greatsword. Now be careful when you drop off here because there's an enemy just below you and he can overwhelm you. They can transform into these dog-like things and they can get leeches on you. But if you rush up here, you can take them both out with a fire weapon. I kind of want to clear this area just in case I need to backtrack because this next enemy is kind of tough. But we're going to use Hidden Body again because it is the best spell in the game in my opinion. Provides so many opportunities to kill enemies. This is a particularly tough enemy. He's a lesser enemy here than what he would be in Untinted Graves, but he's still a pain in the butt. And I messed up the backstab here. Bled him out there. I could have done that a little bit better. Onwards though, this is our next and final part where the giant will assist us. But I want to take out all these festering corpses or whatever they're called again. If you get into trouble, you can just go by the tree, the white birch tree, and just have like that. And just have the giant do the work for you. But as soon as we pick up the rest of the white branches here, because we've already went to Faron Keep, he will die. And we'll get the Hawk Ring in the next episode. But collect the rest of these white branches and he'll be no more. And this is your next Undead Bone Shard. Your third of 10. Now we're going to go open up the shortcut up here. And some people have said this shortcut is useless, but I don't really agree with it because it'll let you skip the graveyard, which is kind of annoying to run through. And if you hold the B button, you can go up the ladder relatively fast. I'm going to circle around here and get this shard. And this next item is the Pursuer's Shield from Dark Souls 2. Just has a different name. Now, these next couple of sections are basically thwarting ambushes, because that's all it is. It's nothing but ambushes. Thralls will ambush you and lead you into bigger enemies and stuff like that. It's just, as long as you know where the ambushes are and know how to deal with them, this area is easy, very easy. And I'll show you how I do it. But I have a particular build here, but as long as you know where they are, you can deal with them accordingly. So the first enemy we want to take out is this guy that's just wandering back and forth down here. You just want to take him out from a distance. You don't want to go too far because you'll aggro the guy that's sitting by the stairs, or you'll get the other archer to spawn. See, I went too far here and the guy's going to start shooting me from his little perch up there, and he's quite annoying. But as long as you take this guy out, if he uses Estus, he's a sitting duck. But now that he's dead, if you come over here, at this exact spot, he cannot shoot you, but you can shoot him. And the best time to fire is right after he's fired, and you'll always hit him. You could use fire bombs or some other method to kill him, but to me, this is just the safest, most efficient way. And that's it. But the guy by the stairs will throw undead hunter charms at you, so we want to take him out immediately. Now, there's an enemy just hanging on the ledge over here, and he's programmed to just jump up. If he doesn't see you, he's not going to follow you, so I just poison him right here. Throw a cloud above him right there, and as long as he doesn't see, he's programmed to climb up. That's what he's programmed to do. He's never followed me. I'm going to kill this guy, and I'm going to have some fun here. All these enemies down here, let's take this guy out first. Shoot him in the foot or somewhere close to the bottom, so you'll have time to shoot him in the butt as he goes up, and you can take him out. Now this guy, all these guys actually down here, if you shoot them once, they'll just commit suicide most of the time. They'll just run off the cliff. And the same with the evangelist. I mean, this happened very consistently. This one just kind of got lost. We were going to take it out again. But it's quite funny that they just run off the cliff. We're going to shoot this guy in the head. That takes care of all the enemies there. Now the thralls, there's a lot of them, guys, and just know where they are. If they're up high enough, they're going to die from the fall if they've got shot in the head once. This one's got a little bit less of a distance to fall, so he's not going to die right away. There's another one right here, just hanging. I got one more thrall coming up here. Right here, he's just hanging again. He will not survive this fall. He's too far up. There's a way to snipe these guys without even going forward, because there's a couple archers down here that are annoying as hell. Even if you can just get a little bit of their health off, it'll help you. But there's 3 archers down there and a couple other enemies. Yeah, we're just going to get a little bit closer since my aim is so terrible. You could plunge attack this guy here, but I find if you go a little bit closer, it won't be as much of a drop. Now we're going to take care of another ambush. We don't want to move forward yet. There's going to be another ambush if you try to get the red bug pellets, but we're going to take care of that in a second. Here's what the evangelist was guarding. Now, if you run forward here, where the stairs are, where you came up, if you stop and you can see the foot right there just hanging about of the thrall right there, you just shoot him once to get him to drop, and he's dead. But we're not done yet. There's more ambushers. So the best thing to do is jump over here. So you want to run and jump over here. I've never actually missed this jump, so it's pretty easy to make. There's another one up here. And a couple more. All we gotta do is just drop down. They won't hear us with the setup that we have. We can just walk right up to them. Backstab them both. And there's a big dude down here. Just run down the stairs. He's on a set path where we can kill him before he can get close to where the thralls are. See, what the game wants you to do is fight this big guy with all those ambushers at once. It's a total ambush completely. So I'm just going to poison this guy through the wall, because I don't like this guy. He's always hit me. So I'm going to let him die in poison. and take care of the final ambush. And get my red bug pellets that I left earlier. Now we just got that little room to deal with. There's a couple thralls in there. But the other one that was by the door is dead from the poison already. There's one hanging on the ceiling and on the wall, so you just want to kill the one on the ceiling first. This one's got the flamberge. Now for this next section, it's kind of dicey because you have these grave wardens that are quite difficult. Cause a lot of bleed on you. They can overwhelm you pretty quickly. But I'm going to use hidden body and just backstab them. They don't really go on a set path. They kind of wander around aimlessly. It's kind of hard to get a feel for where to backstab them. But there's one coming down the stairs immediately, so you want to get to this guy as fast as possible and reapply hidden body. Just wait for your chance. Another couple of ambushes up here. There's some suicide devouts at the top of the stairs, but we're going to deal with them in a fun way. We're just going to run past them and turn around and poison them. And then go deal with some more enemies, and they'll die on their own time. This guy will ambush you. Kill him. And there's another glitched guy. This guy is glitched. If you try to hit him with any other weapon, he's going to come up, glitch through the floor, and hit you somehow. So what I like to do is just poison him until he's about half health, and then just shoot him with an arrow. Because trust me, guys, he's glitched. For some reason, there's a couple of occasions like this where I've noticed enemies that are hanging are glitched, and they'll just go through the wall, through the floor, or whatever, and they'll hit you no matter what. So I'm just going to walk over here, activate the door, and then finish him off with an arrow. But every time I've tried to hit that guy with a knife, he has always glitched through the floor. Always. Don't know why. It's just one of those things. But stay far enough away you don't get him to trigger. And then we're going to poison the rest of these guys. And then we're going to backstab our friend over here, this big guy. I'm just putting on hidden body for insurance. You stick to the wall, you can backstab him. These guys won't attack you, just grab the item. They're going to die quick anyway from the poison. Now there are these slugs in here that are weak to fire, and they take a lot of punishment from anything else, so I just equipped the damn fire knife. I'm not dealing with that because it takes way too many hits for them to go down. So fire for the win here. Now pick up this item, and then we're going to apply hidden body again to deal with this room easily. There are 3 of these Deacons of the Deep. Now, circle around here. There's another slug just waiting to ambush you. We're going to knock it down and deal with it. There's an evangelist over here. Now this is a pretty good example of what hidden body can do. If you want to keep reorienting the enemy. This is a evangelist down here that's guarding a deep gem. Just back up. After you backstab them, they'll look at you for a second, and then they'll just turn around again. I've noticed this is a very similar behavior with other NPCs. It's very exploitable. Now, it's very important to open up the shortcuts in Cathedral of the Deep. There are 2 shortcuts back to the bonfire. And it's the only thing you're only going to get one bonfire, and that's in the cleansing chapel. There are no bonfires in the actual cathedral, so you have to take these shortcuts unless you just want to do the cathedral in one shot, which is not recommended. And we're going to refill our flasks here. Now, this next enemy that we're going to face is a giant. Now, there are two giants in the Cathedral of the Deep. I've experimented with killing the first one before going into the sludge because I hate fighting them in the sludge. It's not a good idea because here's the thing. They drop large titanite shards, which at this stage of the game you can't get anywhere. So you want to get the shards, but if you kill the giant up top and you reset the area or die, you're not going to get the shards. So do not kill the giant up here. Although it's relatively easy to do. But I put on Hidden Body, even though the giant can still see you pretty much. But this is mainly for the archers at the end of the area here. But this is your next ring, the 18th of 107. Lloyd's sword ring, very useful ring, very, very useful. In fact, I use this quite a bit, especially when I'm shooting with the bow. Because at full health, you'll get some bonus damage. And we're going to use it in just a second, too. In fact, we're going to use it immediately because we're going to kill some thralls, which normally would take more than one shot to the head. In this next section here, we're going to go ahead and equip it now. But you have to be at full health for it to work, of course. It's like a watered-down red tearstone ring from Dark Souls 1, I would guess. But I'm just going to shoot this thrall in the head, and he's dead. Come over here, and there's another one. Either way, if you were to take the lower path down there and didn't kill these thralls, they'll all ambush you at the same time while dealing with the big knight down there. That's what the game wants you to do. But since we know where the ambushes are, we can make the game extremely easy. Now these things are so fast. If you don't get your shot in, they'll come get you. But Master of Miracles, 5 of 36, Seek Guidance. I just want to bring this slug down, and you know what? It's just better to equip. The fire is your win. It just takes too many hits for these things. Now we're going to go up here and get an ember and deal with an evangelist. Although I think I severely screwed it up here. I tried to do a backstab, and I think I didn't quite get it. But I tried to put on Hidden Body here. And I just didn't get the backstab. I don't think. Somehow I screwed it up. Or just ran in too quickly. We do eventually get it here. They have a chance to drop Blessed Gems, which I'm going to get later because there's a couple items I want to get infused with Blessed. We'll do that later. Now we're going to go back down and deal with a Mimic and get the next Dark Tome that we're going to give to Carla, not to Irina. Carla is not for a long time, though. Irithyll Dungeon is a long time away, so... But if you put on the sword ring and you still have full health, you can get some more extra damage on it. Just don't get grabbed. Even if you get grabbed, you can still survive one chomping. Now, because we killed all those thralls that were trying to ambush us, they're not going to be dropping down here either. They'll pick either up or down wherever you are. If you're up, they'll go up. If you're down, they'll drop down here. But they're all dead, so we're going to put back on the Lingering Dragon Crest ring because we want to ambush this knight from behind. He doesn't have his friends to back him up now. We're just going to back it up. Let him look at us. He'll turn around, just like the Cathedral Evangelist did. An easy win. Like I said, guys, the build is broken. It's broken. Like, all these enemies are nothing now. Aldrich's Sapphire. This will be very useful for my build because it will give me FP back for backstabs. And what am I doing 90% of? Backstabs. So, yeah, this is going to be very helpful. Now, this guy can be cheesed, and we are going to cheese him. We're gonna try to poison him. I don't think I did poison him, though. Go back to where you came from. He can't get through the door, and we're just going to snipe him in the head with arrows until he's dead. You can poison it, though. I have poisoned it. As long as you stay back, you can't get hit. We're going to use a similar strategy when we get to Anne Orlando, because the other guy... Actually, this one, too. Both of these spiders can glitch their dropped item. If you were to die at the same time you killed it, you will not get the item for that entire cycle. So it's kind of annoying. So killing these things the safe way is the best way. Now we're going to deal with an NPC, Kirk. But first let's deal with some of these thralls. There's one hanging there, and there's another one on patrol over here. And just don't go too far to the left in the open area, because another thrall can come from the side and flank you. But Kirk is dangerous if he parries you. And he does kind of do that to me here. He doesn't parry me. I think I just left myself open and he got a repost on me and nearly killed me. But I just try to get in and try to bleed him. And it works very well. It's just he can parry you and he can cause quite a bit of damage, as you can see right there. If I wouldn't have had full health, I wouldn't have died there for sure. It's the first time we're using our Estus here. I usually just wait until I get a chance, usually after a roll. But if you get too close to him, he can still cause damage because he's got the armor of thorns. But it's not very big damage. There's another thrall here. We want to open up the next shortcut. There's more enemies to the left, but we're not going to deal with them right now. There's no point. We just want to open up this shortcut. Now there's another door that leads to a lift that leads upwards, but we don't want to take that yet because we don't want to interfere with doing Sigurd's quest line and Patch's quest line, and it kind of messes with it a little bit. You can still do it, but it's just you have to do things a little differently, and I just like to do it the easy way here. Now I'm going to attune the fire orb. This will come in handy with... You can use it for the boss if you want, or some of those, I'm not even sure what they're called, those worms that you're going to see at the top where Rosaria's Covenant is. But I like to use them for the slugs and where the giants are, because I hate the slugs and they're only weak to fire. Let's go ahead and take out this patrolling thrall. Now for the giant. This one doesn't have the slugs accompanying him. However, these things are such a chore to fight because you're in the sludge, you don't have great movement, and they take a lot of hits. It's just an annoying fight. These are my least favorite fights in the entire game, I'm pretty sure. It's just not fun. It's not fun to fight these things. The camera's awkward. You're not really sure how, because you're going to be fat rolling anyway because you're in the sludge, and there's no rusted iron ring this time like in Dark Souls 1, so it's just boring and uneventful. The second one is definitely worse than this one. But they do drop large shards, so it's worth killing them. It just takes a minute. Now, I'm not using the weapon art to skip through the sludge because I'm trying to save my FP because I use hidden bodies so very much that I just wanted to preserve it. Now, that's Rhea's set from Dark Souls 1. Make sure you do locate the large shard from killing the giant, because if you leave, like I say, if you die or reset the area, you won't get it. And it really helps to have it at this stage. You'll get a lot of them in the next area, the Catacombs of Carthus, but you have to farm the skeletons, or the can go into the Smoldering Lake and get some from the grooves that drop them. But it's helpful to go ahead and have your weapon at its capacity before taking on the Abyss Watchers, which we will do that in the next episode. Actually, we're going to open the video with the Abyss Watchers, since we already did Fair and Keep for the most part. And later on in this episode, we're going to get that gesture, the hardest gesture to get in the game, because it makes you fail Cyrus's quest, which we're doing in this playthrough, but you have to play it 3 times anyway. So if you come down here and get this item, you'll see a couple of thralls accompanying a knight. It's just not worth fighting them, in my opinion. I'm just not going to deal with it, because I have to deal with something else that I don't want to fight, and that's this other damn giant here. Here's where I definitely want the fire orb, because just dealing with these slugs from a distance is going to help my sanity, because fighting this guy with the slugs is just annoying. Now, if you get too close to the giant, he'll rise up and start attacking you, and if you back off, he'll just go back into the fetal position. So it can be manipulated. This enemy can be manipulated, but like I said, I just want to go for the slugs right now, or at least as many of them I can see. There are a bunch of them here, and they cause a lot of problems when you're trying to fight the giant. But eventually you're going to have to get in the sludge and deal with it. As you can see, I'm going to demonstrate how you just back off. He goes right back into his position there. The fire knife doesn't do much damage to him. You want to have the best knife or weapon you have. Fire for the slugs, though. But instead of switching the knife out, I'm just going to use the fireballs. What would have been a great way to deal with this area would have had, like, if you had Wrath of the Gods from Dark Souls 1. But you don't get Wrath of the Gods in this game until you get to near the profane capital. And even then, it's just not as good as the one in Dark Souls 1. It was broken in Dark Souls 1. The spell time takes forever. But it sure would have been nice to take these slugs out. But the quicker you get the giant killed, the better. Make sure you get that shard, though, for all your trouble. And we're just going to deal with the slugs. Now you get the Drang set and the Drang hammers. We get the Pale Tongue. We're fixing to give one of those to Rosaria, in turn failing in Cyrus's quest. Now, if you're playing on PC, you can just do a backup save and you get the gesture and just back up and then not fail the quest. But if you're on console, you're kind of screwed. There's really no sense in fighting these enemies right now. We're just going to go right past them. We'll kill them later, on our way to Deacons of the Deep. Now we're going to go deal with Patches. He will be very displeased with us for killing his friends, the giants down there, but it's going to give us great pleasure with the new dialogue that he gives us. Plus, we'll be able to get the armor set for Sigurd, but we have to open up this door to have him spawn inside the well. If you don't open this door, he will not spawn in the well, so you have to open up this shortcut. This basically takes you back outside where you first entered the area. And I still don't understand why people kill Patches. He's a great merchant at the end of the day. He gives you everything. Of course, you could use the ashes and stuff, but I just like keeping him around. We're just going to bone back to the bonfire. Now we're going to take that alternate route up top now. We're going to use that lift that we saw earlier. This is just the best way to do the quests. Our next ring will be the Deep Ring. We'll get that shortly. Held by one of these deacons up here. Not this one, but the next one. This will be your 20th ring of 107. This will give you extra attunement slots, which we're already using the Saints ring, so really don't need it. Plus I'm going to invest in attunement so I don't have to keep using a ring slot to get extra spells. Now right here, as soon as you drop down, walk to the left a little bit and aim to the edge so you can take out this thrall. He'll die. And there's another one here. Take him out. Now I like to use hidden body here. I stand by this pillar. I make sure I have the lingering Dragon Crest ring on though. And we'll just run behind him and backstab him. Actually, we're going to kick him off the ledge too, I think. Yep, there he goes. Bye. There's another one coming towards you, but if you run fast enough... Actually, he's walking away from us. But you don't want him to walk towards you so he can see you. We can finish him off quickly. Now, I don't know where this next thrall is where I can actually shoot him. I've never been able to shoot him, but I know he's off to the right here. It might be him right there, but I didn't get a shot on him. But if you approach this area, he will go ahead and climb up. And here he is. And then I didn't see him anymore. I think I knocked him off. But this is another thrall over here. If you go get Arbalest, he will go ahead and try to come towards you, so I like to deal with him here. And I do believe there's yet another thrall that comes. It might not be that guy. I think there's... It doesn't matter. If you go get Arbalest, there's going to be a thrall that comes. At least every time that I've seen. And here he comes. I'm not even sure where he came from. Now, you don't have to kill this next thrall, but we're going to hit him in the foot or somewhere low because we're way far away. But if we can shoot him from here, he won't be able to ambush us when we go get the next item, the Pale Tongue. The Pale Tongue will allow us to respec too. You need one Pale Tongue for each respec, but you can only do it 5 times per playthrough. And we are going to respec a couple of times. Near the end of the game, though. We're going to practically be done with the game in the first playthrough. I like to use hidden body here, and we're going to go over here to this thrall. I'm going to get him. Now we're going to go deal with our friend the knight that's guarding our blessed gem. And again, I want multiple blessed gems because I want to infuse a shield and a bandit knife with it. But the shield in question will be in the smoldering lake. Horus's shield is the one I'm going to use for parrying and stuff like that. But I want it to be blessed. There's no reason to not have your shield blessed. If it's in your left hand, offhand, it's going to be useful. Any kind of regen is better than nothing. But there's your blessed gem there, and we're going to go ahead and backstab him. And then back up again, reapply. As long as he looks and sees there's nothing there, he'll just walk along. Not questioning at all what just backstabbed him with a sharp object. No, he's just going to walk along. Two more knights remain on these rafters, but I don't recommend fighting them. I'm going to snipe one here and get him to kind of move out of position because I want to drop down in the area he's guarding. But it's not necessary to actually fight these guys. Sometimes they'll just commit suicide by running around and they'll fall off. But we're just going to go around him. Just make sure your health is good enough to sustain the fall damage here. We don't have the cat ring, or we didn't invest in spook this time. We'll use spook later. It's a pretty good spell. Oh, Master of Expression, 18 of 26, Prostration. 2 ways to get this. You can, if you confront Patches now, just say you know who I am, and he'll give it to you. But if you don't do Patches' quest the way we're doing it, then you'll need to not forgive him at Firelink. Make sure you do not forgive him. Now buy all the armor for Sigurd, because we'll need that shortly. And pull this lever, and then we're going to go up top to Rosaria, get our next achievement. If you look up, you'll see all of them up ready to ambush you. In this case, you know what? It's just not worth it. I'm just going to go invisible and run and kill this one at the end to get the red soapstone item and just get to the Covenant. Just don't want to deal with it. We're fixing to go to Farron Keep and get that last gesture that we need from Farron Keep, but we couldn't get it last episode because we have to give Rosaria a pale tongue, and that's why we had to do the other area earlier, because we needed the Dark Moon loyalty gesture. But this will be your 12th achievement out of 43. Your Covenant is Rosaria's Fingers. Very useful Covenant. Well, you don't have to join the Covenant to, or invest in it to respec, but giving the pale tongue just ruins everything for the Cyrus quest. Change your appearance, respec, pretty important. Here is the Master of Expression that makes you fail Cyrus's quest. 19 of 26, Proper Bow. It's from Heisel, the guy that invaded you in the Road of Sacrifices. And he can also invade you in Farron Keep, although we didn't activate that invasion. Now, when I was in here in the last episode, I did not get a Titanite shard. I didn't get it, so here it is down here. And I might have missed another item earlier too, but it was just, if anything, it was just a Titanite shard. It's not a big deal. This is not a 100% walkthrough per se. It's just to get all the achievements. But I'm trying to get every item. But we're going to get this guy here. Make sure you're embered. Summon him. He will not be here unless you have given Rosaria a pale tongue. But even if you have given Rosaria a pale tongue, if you've killed the Abyss Watchers, he's not going to be there. Again, why we couldn't kill the boss. Now we're just going to send him home. Go back to Cathedral. Now we're going to go back to the Cleansing Chapel bonfire so that we can go to Sigurd and give him his armor that he's stuck in that well. We got to get him out. So Master of Expression 20 of 26 is Rejoice. And this will also continue Sigurd's quest line. Now that we've given a pale tongue to Rosaria, we can continue Leonard's quest as well. He will spawn here after you give Rosaria a pale tongue. Make sure to exhaust all his dialogue. The next step in his quest will not be until we kill Aldridge, the Man-Eater, and then we have to get to the Profane Bonfire to finish the quest. Now, for the boss, Deacons of the Deep. Now, this is an easy boss, guys. This is easy. It's an easy boss. I was just trying to experiment a little too much with the poison. You can poison the Deacons of the Deep with the Storyteller Staff, and eventually the one that's got the aura all around him will die. So it's kind of cool, but to be honest, it's just best to go in with whatever weapon you got and tank this boss. But I lingered it around too long, and if you linger in the second phase too long, they'll create a dark spell which causes a heavy amount of damage, and I don't have a lot of Estus since I've invested in Ashen Estus now, but I should have maybe went to Andre before this boss fight, but Alluring Skulls will help as well, and we're going to use that. I didn't kill all the enemies in this area, I just kind of just wanted to get to the boss, but you can do whatever you want. All these guys will drop their gear. These guys with the swords are particularly difficult to take on. And I just said, you know what, screw it. Let's just get out of here. But the poison from the Storyteller Staff will poison the Deacons. You can do them quite a bit of poison to them. But like I said, I should have just... I got a little overzealous with the poison. I think I should have just went in with the Bandit Knife. But it is fun to experiment. But having Alluring Skulls will also help because it'll get most of the crowd away. But I'm trying to thin the crowd because they have to respawn anyway. But if you linger too long, like I said, in the second phase, they'll create a dark spell which will cause a lot of damage. A lot of damage. We're throwing some Alluring Skulls here. They're best to save for the second phase, though, the Alluring Skulls. They're big friends. When the real Deacon comes, the big dudes, they're purple-cladded Deacons, they're very tough to take on. A lot of the poison is taking them out already. It's fun still to use the poison, but it's just not necessary. Best thing to do is just go in guns blazing with this boss. I've killed most of the Deacons. here's where it gets interesting. Don't linger in this fight. You can see I just went in guns blazing here. If you cause him to bleed, you'll take a lot more damage. I got him to bleed there. We're going to throw some more Alluring Skulls. Just keep throwing them. We're trying to separate those purple cladded deacons. They do a lot of damage. And they can heal their partners as well. This is all about a DPS check. You just want to go in and take out the guy as fast as you can. I'm not even bothering to use poison at this point anymore. And there's that dark spell they're casting. Don't let them finish it. I did use poison again. And you see they're going for that dark spell. Don't let them finish it. It's pretty damaging. And it will go through the pillars. You're not safe behind cover. So just take him out. And as soon as you kill the boss, if you want his attire, you'll need to reset the area or just sit at the bonfire and then it'll spawn. But don't forget it. And there it is behind us. Now we're going to continue Patch's quest. Get him as our vendor. And get a couple of rings, and then we'll call this an episode. It's been a long one, guys. It's been a really long episode. But now that we're back at Firelink, we need to give the ashes to the handmaiden, the paladin's ashes that we got at the beginning of the episode, and buy our next ring, the Lloyd's Shield Ring. It's the same as the sword ring, except it's defense instead of offense. And we're going to buy the key to the tower for 20,000 souls. But we just killed the boss. Might as well go ahead and use it. Now, once this fog is released, you want to check the tree. Every time you get invaded, you have a 50-50 chance of getting a seed of a giant. And you want to get the seed because we can trade it. We can trade it with Pickle Pea to get a piece of Solaire's armor. And we'll do that here just in a second. And we're going to open up the shortcut to Pickle Pea as well before we deal with patches. So we want to drop down here. Go ahead and kick that ladder to get permanent access to Pickle Pea. And while we're here, we might as well get a Titanite chunk by dropping a black firebomb. And now we're going to get some of Solaire's armor. So the first item we're going to use is the seed that we just got from a giant tree. This will give us the leggings, Solaire's leggings. If we give him the Sigurd that we got from Sigmar, or Sigurd, you get the armor of the sun. Now we don't have the lightning urn from Grey Rat, but he has pillaged the undead settlement now, and he has returned, and we can get a lightning urn and trade it with the crows to get the last piece we need. Well, not the last piece. The shield we cannot get for a long time because you need the Mendicant staff, and that is in Archdragon Peak, and that's not for a very long time. So, and if you want Solaire's sword, it is located in Lothric Castle in a mimic. So you're gonna have a while before you want, if you want to cosplay as Solaire, you're gonna have to wait a while. But here is the Firekeeper Soul. We are not going to use it this playthrough. But what it does is, if you give it to the Firekeeper, it allows her to heal the Dark Sigil, which you have obtained from Yol. But if you do that, it automatically fails your quest, which you don't want to do that this time. Patches is happy that he has trapped you. He will gloat. Just forgive him later. It's not worth killing him. But we want to count 3 steps over here. This is where you want to... Don't jump. You just want to run off to get the Estus ring at the bottom. You're going to have to heal after you get this initial drop. As you can see, I didn't jump. I just ran off. I've never failed it if I've been running. But if I've jumped, I have failed. So get the Estus ring and open the gate. This will be where Irina will be eventually once she becomes a firekeeper. I'm just going to go back. And I'll get our last ring of the episode, the horse hoof ring. And as you can see, Cyrus is pissed off at us because we have given a pale tongue to Rosaria. There's no backing off from that. No going back. This is our 23rd ring, the horsehoof ring. This is the only ring that has allowed me to kick Havel's shield away. I haven't been able to do it any other way. But with this ring, you can kick Havel's shield away and repost him. Now we're going to go to Grey Rat and buy the lightning urn, which we should have done when we first got back here. Then we could have got the entire set of armor for Solaire. And we're going to level up a couple times, I think. And we have the Estus shard to give to Andre. Grey Rat has returned from his pillage. And I'm going to also buy another bandit knife because I'm going to use this as a blessed bandit knife because I'm going into the catacombs in the next episode. And I like to have a blessed knife.
Welcome, husband. Very then take.
Took me a while to decide what the hell I was going to do here. But I eventually went with attunement to 14 so I could have 2 attunement slots. And I'm going to get my intelligence up as well. And that's it, guys. It's been a long one. I'll see you guys in the next episode of the Catacombs. And I don't know if I'm going to do Smoldering Lake as well. I'll probably divide those 2 up. I'll see you guys in the next one.